Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. So the Grammys were last night, and when the photos and videos emerged from the event, many people were thinking, thank goodness I don't watch that anymore. And if the election taught us anything, it was that people don't care what celebrities think anymore. They want to let everybody know what their views are on certain things, and it's just like, we don't care. So the first person to cause quite a stir was Kanye and his wife, Bianca Censori, I believe her name is. And as per usual, this woman was naked. And this time, literally, Kanye standing there parading his wife around. First she came wearing a coat. She took the coat off, and yeah, it was absolutely obscene, wearing some see-through mesh, which apparently was meant to count for clothing, and even pulling it down in case it was too short, even though we saw coochie and everything else. It's edited, just so you're aware. What were the photographers doing? What were they saying? I would have packed up my camera and left. Kanye standing there looking like he's putting her on sale for everybody at auction. Just ridiculous. And some people were saying that they're concerned for her. You know, blink twice, Bianca, if you want us to come and rescue you. Not that we can do anything, but, you know, blink twice if you're in trouble. But if you look at the images from the after party, she seemed pretty happy to me. They both looked like they were enjoying themselves. And apparently there was rumors going around, or even reports saying that Kanye had been thrown out of the event, that both him and his wife were asked to leave and escorted out. Kanye is calling BS on that. How dare you say such a thing? Apparently that's not true. And he responded to those reports. So rumors started to circulate suggesting that they had been asked to leave when onlookers saw the couple walk out of the awards and into an awaiting car. Now Kanye has slammed broadcaster Don Lemon, claiming he was responsible for the rumor. So Kanye posted a picture of Don, and he said, "This goofball that started the rumor that me and my wife got kicked out of the Grammys, 3 decades of innovating music, and they always K-word like this." I don't even know what that word is. So apparently the original report came from Entertainment Tonight. In a now deleted post, they made the claim that the pair were escorted out of the Grammys after showing up uninvited. I find it hard to believe that Kanye wouldn't be invited to the Grammys. And Don Lemon responded to Kanye, telling him to get his facts straight.
First of all, Kanye, Ye, whatever your name is, I did not start a rumor about you being kicked out of the Grammys. I actually corrected it. I saw someone on your team who asked me to correct it because it had been reported everywhere. So, first of all, get your shit straight. And you, of all people, calling me a coon? Negro, that Make America Great Again hat must be too tight on your head.
See, Kanye is somebody who the conservatives welcomed, interviewed, and even gave him some credibility when he ran for president, or said he was going to run for president. Did he actually run? I think he did. Now he has been on Tucker Carlson talking about modesty, talking about how he wanted his ex-wife to dress modestly and not be showing off her, you know, her boobs or whatever, or wearing clothing that's too tight.
And I had a lot of issues with the imagery of Skims. I felt like there's a lot of imagery that was overly sexualized and things that I wouldn't want to see my wife and definitely not my daughters doing in the future in order to sell product.
Went through this transition where from being a rapper, like looking at all these girls and looking at my wife, like, oh, my girl needs to be just like the other girls, showing her body off, showing this, showing that. And I didn't realize that that was affecting like my soul and my spirit as someone that's married and loved and the father of like now with about to be 4 kids. Of course, it's like a formal underwear. It's hot. It's like, it's hot for who though?
So like the night before the Met, you're gonna come in here and say that you're not into a corset bag. Give me really bad anxiety. What are you talking about?
Why is that giving you anxiety to say that?
Last night I was having really bad anxiety and I don't need any more negative energy for you to now say that you're not into me wearing a tight dress.
You are my wife and it affects me when pictures are too sexy.
You built me up to be this like sexy person and confidence and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And just because you're on a journey and you're on your transformation doesn't mean that I'm in the same spot with you. So.
Okay, all right, cool.
Martin, that's absolutely ridiculous.
He's gone from that to what we saw last night. I do not understand it. This is somebody who was purporting to be a Christian. I mean, he used to do performances at prisons. I used to love that, actually. Singing gospel music. I thought that was lovely. I don't know what's going on. I really don't. I mean, there's no defending that. I've defended Kanye many times. Not anymore. Then we had Alicia Keys talking about DEI. That is something that is very much in the forefront at the moment in light of recent events. The criticism of DEI has been conflated with racism. Well, if you disagree with this, you must be a racist. When DEI is not just about race, it can be about sex, even who somebody likes to sleep with. When people are going for jobs, they're competing against each other. Their competency should count for more than immutable factors, such as race, such as gender. Yes, I can say that about gender now. But of course, Alicia Keys didn't take Ricky Gervais's advice.
So, if you do win an award tonight, don't use it as a platform to make a political speech, right? You're in no position to lecture the public about anything. You know nothing about the real world. Most of you spent less time in school than Greta Thunberg. So, if you win, right, come up, accept your little award, thank your agent and your God, and f*** off, okay?
She is weighing in on politics, letting everybody know what she thinks, and probably what you should think too.
It's not the time to shut down the diversity of voices. We've seen on this stage talented, hardworking people from different backgrounds with different points of view, and it changes the game. DEI is not a threat, it's a gift. And the more voices, the more powerful the sound. When destructive forces try to burn us down, we rise from the ashes like a phoenix. And as you see tonight, music is the unstoppable language that connects us all.
So, in my opinion, I certainly don't see it as a gift because I see it as something that justifies discrimination in 2025. And just because it may be in favor of certain groups now, that doesn't mean that the pendulum will not one day switch. As long as we keep allowing discrimination to exist based on race, even based on sexuality, gender, the moment we allow that, it's always going to be kept alive. It's always going to be an issue in the future. We have people saying that they are infuriated for people to call them a DEI hire just because of the color of their skin, or their sexuality, or their gender. And I agree, that must be infuriating of someone to look at you and dismiss you as a DEI hire. If you immediately look at somebody and by the colour of their skin, you determine that they're a DEI hire, regardless of all of their qualifications, regardless of all of their, their background, their merit, people will take that to be racism, people will consider that a slur. But the way to get rid of that is to get rid of DEI. So that is not something that we ever have to consider ever again. Both sides, you can say, have taken it too far. But what is a fact is that people have been turned away from certain jobs because of the colour of their skin. And it shouldn't be okay if those people happen to be white. There should be no hint of that in 2025. Once you're not in a certain group that fits with the goals of the company, the DEI goals of a company, you will be discriminated against. And this has happened. There are lawsuits going on against the FAA. There's 1,000 applicants were turned away allegedly based on their race, in a time where there is a shortage of air traffic controllers.
The FAA says it needs 1,300 more controllers. The Controllers Union says 3,500 are needed. The FAA is struggling to keep up with mandatory retirements at 56.
How long will it take you to get to full staffing?
Our goal is 5 to 7 years to be fully staffed and comfortable.
There are people who drop out of the recruitment process when they realize that it's such a high-pressure job, as you can imagine. There are people who quit because they don't want to be told where they have to live. They don't want to be working on weekends, all these hours that they have to commit to. So it's hard to retain air traffic controllers as it is, and it's hard to meet the numbers of those that are required, the amounts that are required. So when we have these issues to begin with, why would you turn away people based on race? And I'm not saying that's got anything to do with recent events, but when Trump mentioned the crash in DC, he specifically spoke about the DEI goals that the FAA had to recruit more people with intellectual disabilities, psychiatric disorders. Why is there money being put into these programs? And why is there even a goal for people to tick certain boxes when it should just be based on merit? Whether you have a disability or not, if you're able to show that you are competent, that you can do the job well, if you're able to be competitive with other candidates, none of these factors should even be an issue, should even be a goal. The goal should be competency, merit, which ultimately leads to safety.
This is a preventable disaster. The system has been under attack due to DEI and the FAA bowing to wokeness since 2010, since the Obama administration. The lack of staffing is directly attributable to the Obama administration terminating the lists of eligible, well-trained air traffic control statements in 36 universities across the country in 2013 because they were too white. The FAA also at the same time implemented an immunity program. So you think you're seeing legitimate statistics, you're not. In the old days, before 2010, the immunity program, if an air traffic controller got two airplanes too close, too many times, they would be decertified and retrained. Now, they're not. All they have to do within 48 hours of being noticed or being investigated for a potential separation error, they're called operational errors in the FAA, the controller just simply has to avail themselves of this program that gives them immunity. And when I say immunity, I mean immunity. The FAA cannot retrain these people. If somebody has a repetitive instance of malfeasance or lack of competency, the FAA, because of this immunity program, cannot rectify the situation. They have to basically allow the person to remain in the same position. It's very, very difficult for the FAA to retrain a controller, and it's attributed to, quite frankly, the union and the FAA working together to basically use this program to gerrymander the statistics.
Now, does that instill confidence in you? Next time you get on a plane, when you hear stuff like that, do you think that's a gift? I'm sorry, that's not a gift. That is putting people's lives at risk. Because people who make mistakes at work, which is perfectly normal, there's nothing wrong with making a mistake. But obviously, when you're an air traffic controller, a mistake is the difference between a life and death. What is wrong with retraining people and giving people support? To me, that's not making people feel worthless. That's not picking on anybody. If somebody has had too many near misses, what is wrong with retraining them? Because in other jobs, you probably get fired, but they've taken that option away because it offends the unions or something. Why? And then obviously, if you get rid of a certain number of people who fit into a criteria that they need to keep the numbers up, there's an incentive to keep that person regardless. That doesn't instill confidence in me personally, and I don't consider that a gift. So Alicia Keys may be fine with that, with her private jets and pilots who she's personally appointed, or her people have personally appointed. But for the rest of us, when we get on a plane, we don't know who's flying it. I don't think there's anything racist. I don't think there's anything wrong in saying that you want the best and the brightest, which includes people of all races. And if you think that doesn't include black people, then there's something wrong with you. For me, the pilot looking like me is really not the be-all and end-all. Why are we pumping money into these DEI programs? Money that could go elsewhere, perhaps to training air traffic controllers who need extra help. How about that?
And I just want to say tonight that trans people are not invisible. Trans people deserve love. The queer community deserves to be lifted up.
Brutal right now, but trans people have always existed and they will forever exist, and they will never, no matter what happens, take trans joy away, and that has to be protected more than anything, because I would not be here without trans girls.
So yes, Hollywood still hasn't learned from Ricky Gervais. They're still preaching their political ideology on the world stage when they should just get their award and go. And then Shakira had her Selena Gomez moment. Well, not quite as dramatic, but she dedicated her award to the immigrants. So I'm assuming I'm included in that.
I want to dedicate this award to all my immigrant brothers and sisters in this country. You're loved, you're worth it, and I will always fight with you.
While the music star didn't mention President Trump by name, her remarks in support of immigrants came after the commander-in-chief and Colombian President Gustavo Petro made headlines following a heated back and forth last week involving immigration. Even their own countries are rejecting them, refusing to take them back. Why? Now, I'm not talking about regular immigrants. I'm talking about the ones who have criminal convictions. They're not wanted in their own countries. Their countries were happy to get rid of them. The onus is on the US to take them in droves, not even to vet them. Yeah, I don't think people are too excited about the Grammys these days. I think people are fed up of these people preaching at us from their high horses. Alicia may use the diversity of the Grammys to say how wonderful DEI is. But every single person there, probably only there because people bought their music. No one bought their music, they wouldn't be there. So let me know what you think. Thanks for watching. Like, comment and subscribe. Take care of yourselves, and God willing, I will see you in the next video.